everybody's getting fined or towed for everything. So. You wanna answer these, or answer the questions, or?
No, I don't care. I don't think we should answer one and not others, so I.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
let's go down the list.
Can the neighbor, Jim's was first. Oh, you want me to, I'm sorry.
Sure, since it's your hand raised.
Yeah, I'm not sure I got, what is the gentleman in the pink shirt? What is his name? I'm sorry.
John.
Okay. Apologize, I missed his. Okay, Jim wanted to know, can a neighbor give, a snowbird, give their parking space, their carport or their other parking space to another neighbor? And while the board is considering this, before you answer, I will tell you, we have owners here who have 2 vehicles and would like to borrow a neighbor's carport for a 3rd vehicle.
No, second,
Or the second.
Either the second.
not the third.
Not third. Not
Yeah, it
third.
could be for the 2nd, just so it's covered, right, and not out in the sun, yeah. So, the COMTO regulation was that, am I being loud enough? I hope everyone can hear me. The COMTO regulation was that if you have an authorized sticker on your vehicle, it doesn't matter where you're parked. Unless an owner of the carport comes home, finds you there and doesn't want you there and has you towed themselves, it doesn't matter
Okay.
where you're parked if you have the legitimate sticker. You can't have a 3rd just because someone wants to give you their parking space to use because they're only using 1 or none of theirs. 2 per unit, period. Am I going still?
Sure.
What the heck?
Well,
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have their permission.
It's just the way it read in that
Yeah.
parking thing, it just didn't sound the same as that. It was
okay.
confusing, that's the only
The
reason I
back
asked
and
that.
forth.
Yeah.
Shannon is on the floor.
Let's answer these questions.
Gary, Susan, Jay, and Courtney all had questions. Gary's was about temporary tags. Susan's was overnight emergency visiting. Jay was guest parking, and Courtney was guest parking. And again, when you get these rules and regulations, this will be clear to everyone. But the facts are, if someone comes on the property after hours, there's no emergency service to get someone allowed to park. They need to park in a visitor spot. No one is getting up in midnight or 2 or 10 o'clock at night, if that's when somebody's coming over, to give you a parking exception. So they need to park in a visitor spot. You could do that up to 3 days, am I lying? 3 days? And after that, anybody after 3 days who's going to be here longer than 3 days needs to let the cluster director know, or CNS, I think it's CNS, we're gonna go through CNS, let me know. And we will put in the towing system an exemption for the period of time that you give me. Keep in mind, I need a description of the car, I need the license plate that they'll have, and I need the date that they're arriving and the date that they're leaving. And that will be a digital tag, not one that you hang on the car or stick on the car. It's a digital tag, so the COMTO drivers, when they scan that license plate, know that they can't tow between this date and that date. So that'll be taken care of. So I think does that answer, Courtney, Susan, Gary, and Jay? I think that answered all of your questions. Okay, Rebecca wanted to know about parking, if you have to park somewhere based on the size of the vehicle.
No.
Okay, that's a problem in cluster 1. And the reason it's a problem is I've got about 6 pickup trucks that show up there that are extended cab, and they've got they've got trailer hitches that are this long. They back them in, and it blocks the sidewalk, so none of my residents can walk on the sidewalk, which is behind the parking curb.
Hang on, then if you're gonna address that, I'm gonna add Laura's in, because she wanted to know about the length of the vehicle also. Rebecca's was just different types.
Okay,
Yeah.
but that's a problem, because we have a number of elderly folks that are in our cluster. They should not have to walk around the truck
And
to be
grass.
able to get to their carport, which is down on the other end. So I have asked my residents to have these extended cab vehicles put out in front in a visitor spot, because that's what they are. They're not anybody who owns that big truck, they're just guests who are here. So therein lies my question, as far as the length of the vehicle being a problem when it backs into the parking place and it extends way out into the driveway and way over into the front yard. So that is a length issue.
So I'm gonna answer Nancy's. I think the answer is that you can make some suggestions to owners who have those long ones because it is an issue, but the board cannot adopt a rule because you don't have the right in the declaration. So whenever you do rules and regulations, it should be a defining standard of language that's in the declaration. You can't just add things that aren't. And you don't have any vehicle restrictions like that in there.
It says small truck.
Small trucks.
That's the only thing it says, is small truck.
Right. But you could have what you guys discussed in F-150. Why am I talking so loud? You could have the F-150, but have the extended bed, right? So
Yeah.
the F-150
The
is
extra
allowed,
bed, yes.
right? And you could have the big trailer hitch.
And you could have the big trailer
Right.
hitch, which makes the truck stick out in the front and stick out in the back.
Yes.
Right. I mean, it's not a perfect world, you know, I mean, there's gonna be probably little things like that, but you're saying right
What
now.
about the ones that don't fit into the carport spaces though? And they're hanging out into the road, requiring people to drive
Yeah.
around them. That is another problem.
I had that problem at my
Yes, you
cluster, in front of my unit. My neighbor had a pickup truck and backed in under his covered spot, and he backed all the way up, his bed was sticking out, I couldn't even walk by. And I approached him and I asked him, could he please back up until his tires hit the thing, so he knows, and then just pull up. And he's been doing that. You know, he got a new vehicle since then, and it's not as big of an issue, but
But
for
that
years.
puts it out into the driveway,
No,
correct?
no, he could pull up, he wasn't sticking out past the roof of the carport. He just had to pull up a little bit, just so it's courtesy, I guess, so we could walk by. And I asked him, and if he would've said no, I would've had to just deal with it. I mean,
And how would you have done that?
just walk around the long way or whatever, and that.
So, I think an easy way to address this is in the motorcycle and motorbike section, there is the section that reads, provide there is no obstacles to any sidewalk or adjacent parking spaces, and the automobile can be parked normally, provided the automobile does not extend into the street or driveway areas.
That takes care of it.
Well,
Well, it's already addressed.
it's addressed in the motorcycle
No,
section.
No, yeah, okay, so this is, it says, what's the very first sentence? Residents owning an automobile and a motorcycle, motorbike, moped, etc. That whole paragraph pertains to those residents. It doesn't just pertain to any other truck you want it to. It pertains to people who have a vehicle and
A
a
motorcycle.
motorcycle.
Okay, so then that language is covered, and if
It
they're,
will be covered for a truck, is the
It-
extra long trucks? Or do you have to move it into a vehicle section and not a motorcycle section? Duplicate it into a vehicle section, not motorcycle. Leave it in motorcycles, put it again in vehicle section.
You can't. You don't have any right in your documents to restrict the length of a
Okay.
vehicle.
Okay?
All you can do is ask people to be courteous.
Yep.
If you can't restrict the length, how can you restrict the size, the weight, the F2, F3 class? How do you have that right?
Because of the roads, because of the pavement on the roads,
Where is that in the document
That's
though?
done by weight.
that it would be, what's that?
Is it done by weight?
The one that you put in
Weight
there?
of a 250 versus a 150.
Class 1 and 2.
Yeah, class 1 and 2,
350.
right. Yeah, on what the board, used for material for the roads, which is fallout that you just have to deal with.
Okay.
Next was handicap cars too close to allow, how do you let the, handicap cars with others parking too close to allow you to get in now? And how do you let the towing company know when you have an issue? The answer is you don't let the towing company know, you let Janet know. So just let me know and I'll help you with whatever you have going on as far as exemptions or whatever you need. But the handicap cars, you're talking about your neighbors parking so close that you can't get in and out?
No,
It's backed up.
backed up behind the sidewalk.
Yes.
It's just what we were talking about as far as length.
Yeah, they're not allowed to do that, regardless of how long the vehicle is. It does ask them not to block the walking path, so if you see that, let us know,
Okay.
okay? And the last, I think, do you want to talk about the scooters and cycles a little bit for Susan, because she has some further questions.
What was
She just asked about how they park and where they can.
So she was saying that if this is the parking lot, and you've got a motorcycle parked here, and you put your car here, that's the way, the motorcycle or scooter should not be here, and your car parked here. Your scooter or motorcycle has to be here, your car parked here, and if your car is so long, or your vehicle is so long that it sticks out into the street or, driveway or,
And that's addressed in that section that I just read.
okay, so that's,
Because it-
all right.
Not allowed.
That was,
It's
that was
not
her question.
No, we're not taking any more questions right now.
Okay, so when do I ask the follow-up, because there's a third thing?
We're not-
It's important.
Susan, you have to wait, please.
Okay, well, just tell me
Okay.
when.
So, the section says that they can't
Janet,
stick out for this specific
Janet.
section.
Janet,
Excuse
don't,
me a moment.
I asked a question,
Susan.
don't.
Susan, the board is still talking.
I asked a question,
Yeah.
when, just
Yeah,
ask,
well-
just tell me when.
I don't have an answer, the board is still
Today,
talking.
Tomorrow, the next meeting,
Susan,
Susan,
I asked a question.
so it doesn't say, I think it says that they have to be parked. Normally, there's no obstruction to the sidewalk, and isn't in front of the bumper, like where the sidewalk is, or is there room?
Yeah, the sidewalk would be here. This is the parking space, and this is the motorcycle or scooter, and then their car would have to fit in this rest of the space.
But if you take the bottle and put it on the other side, like Susan asked, is that sidewalk?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's not allowed.
That's not allowed.
Yeah.
And is Calvin gonna be?
because then you're parking on the sidewalk.
Can you tell me?
Right. Okay.
That's what I can tell her.
And in some cases where there's not a sidewalk back here, like, cluster 2 or something, right? There's no it's grass and then building, right, with no sidewalk. Cluster 1 or cluster 2?
We've got a sidewalk behind most of ours.
Okay, there is an individual that has scooters that are, puts them
Two.
in. That, okay, and 2, but there's no sidewalk there, right?
That is, he's parked on the sidewalk.
It is a sidewalk?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So he's in violation.
You have a motorcycle, a scooter, and a car.
Right.
So ignore that.
Susan, that's not necessary. I think it's important that all of us follow the same rules. And we asked everyone to come to the podium. We did ask, and this is the board's choice. This is not CNS. This is not Janet putting her foot
Okay,
down.
but that's what you've been
We
doing.
asked everyone to come to the podium, ask their questions, and then we would answer. At no point did we ask people to get up and yell and ask follow-up questions.
Well,
They'll open the floor if they'd like to.
you've been ignoring the rules.
Do we have any more discussion for the board?
If it's quick, I'd just like to hear it.
Huh?
Can we? If it's quick.
Oh, yeah, you still have, like, the follow-up.
Yeah, I want to hear, if it's quick, I want to hear it.
What?
I want to hear, what do you want to say?
What is that noise?
Nothing,
Robin, unless you're.
No, I just-
I appreciate it.
Your phone.
All right,
I appreciate
well,
it. Okay, so the third part to that is that you have, what I talked about before, is what are we calling the scooter? Are we calling the scooter a third vehicle
yeah,
or not?
yes.
Because then we have a car, we have a motorcycle, and we have a scooter,
Right.
all trying to be in that one parking lot.
Right, you
So
only have
how are
2
we-
vehicles per.
So how are we handling that?
Two vehicles.
That party has to deal,
Okay, so it goes back to, we got the motorcycle, where is it gonna go? And we got the car, and then where is the scooter gonna
one of them has to go away.
go? That's what I'm asking you
Yeah.
to put in there. That's,
We don't have to put it in
We don't
there,
have to
you're
put it in
allowed
there.
2 vehicles.
That's it.
Two vehicles.
You have to tell them, because they're
No,
gonna go.
we're going to, this is what we're doing now, and we're
I
gonna
know, but
distribute it.
I'm asking,
No, I know, and
Okay.
it's a valid question.
and I appreciate you.
Except just owners making sure that the registrants get a copy of the parking rules and regulations.
They will. What, wait, what? Yeah, everybody's gonna get a copy of the new updated rules and regulations.
Or it'll be available.
Or it'll be available.
Oh, I know, I'm aware,
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Okay,
I think it's time to vote.
yep. Alright, all in favor of
Aye.
adopting this parking section into the rules and regulations?
And the other two changes.
And the other changes that were addressed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Alright, that's the parking changes. Parking audit. Question that I have for the board is after the parking changes. Let me explain. My question comes down to, sorry. My question comes down to is vehicle registration being per unit? That's the way Calvin had set it up, or that's the way it should be, is verifying that that vehicle is registered to you in that unit. So you're only allowed 2 parking passes. How do we handle that? How do we address that for all the parking stickers that are already out there? None of them's been verified.
It's just been handed out.
They've just been handed out.
Nope, mine have all been verified.
If
So
they had
you-
1 car, they got 1 sticker, if they had 2 cars, they got 2
But
stickers.
you're the
and
exception.
cluster 1.
Well, that's, you just said none of them have been verified.
No.
So I'm correcting that.
Okay,
Ours were done correctly.
okay.
If there was-
If I could speak,
Go ahead, do it.
That's right.
Or,
Tom, it's Robin.
oh, sorry.
Tom, it's Robin. I just wanted to, put my input in. I know several of my owners have already approached me because they have thrown their stickers out or they misplaced them. So we're gonna need new stickers. So in my opinion, for me, to start out fresh would be better.
Okay. So, just making sure, you guys have verified, if CNS, because that's what our plans are or were, is CNS is going to require, if you come into the office, right, that you have to show proof of registration, that that vehicle, you own that vehicle, and you guys have both done that. Because if
I have
she
not
requires
asked
it,
they, for registration cards,
okay,
Yeah, and we need to do that.
I assigned them why?
To verify that that's your vehicle.
Yeah, but you may know them because you live here and they're your people, but I don't. And my staff does. I'm not sitting in the office waiting for people to walk in,
People
so.
to come into CNS to get a sticker. I don't think his is
what
either.
I'm getting at is if she starts to require him to come in and show proof of registration and you didn't, why is that fair? That's what I'm getting at. If we do for one, we need to do for all.
Or they need to show a copy of the lease, or a copy of the deed, or something, that my staff can verify that they're an approved resident to give out a sticker. And while we're on the subject of the audit, I don't know if Tom told you, but I'm doing the audit now because a lot of you very helpfully went into Comtel and put your information in, but you didn't share it with me. So to my staff, that owner in the system has no vehicles yet, so they can have 2 stickers. So I have to go into Comtel individually, pull every single tag except for the ones I entered, and put them into my system so my staff knows not to give out stickers to those owners. So having said that, it is such a project. I will do it. I'm volunteering my time, even though everyone thinks that I don't around here, but I am volunteering my time and my weekend to get it done. but I don't ever wanna do it again. So, I think it should be CNS that handles all of it, or the cluster directors handle all of it. I do not think it should be both. That's my thoughts on it. Now that I've seen the audit and tried to pull it all, that's my thoughts on it.
Well,
And part of this, what started a little bit, is we do have some violations of chapter 718. Because some owners and tenants receive stickers, and that is a violation of 718. So how do we clear that up?
If
And
they received the sticker already, it's a violation? How is that? They were from April. They were told us to hand them out. We did.
right, and we'll,
They have to be taken out of the system, Nancy, because 718 says when you rent your condominium out, other than attending meetings, both board and annual, you have no rights to the property. You can't come use the pool, you can't use the parking spaces, you can't go in there if you rent it. So there is no reason for your vehicle to be parked here ever where it would get towed unless you're attending a meeting, and we're not gonna tow during the meetings, I assume.
I don't have that issue.
and I've heard of a scenario where you've got a couple, and they only have one vehicle. But their friend, who lives wherever, parks the vehicle here as well, and uses, I asked for two, let's just say it's, Kelly and I have, one vehicle, okay? And my friend works at Bell's and wants to park his car here, right? So, no. So I get two stickers, and I put one on his, so he can park, and I put one on ours, right? Now, that can't, how can, you know, that can, no, that could be happening.
It does right now because we're not asking for any registration. Michael's saying, I have 2 cars, here's the tags, here's the description of the cars, can I have 2 stickers? And we say, sure. We'll put in your
Yeah.
Toyota, whatever, your Chevy, whatever, here's your 2 stickers, go ahead.
And if I said to my friend, hey, give me your registration, I gotta show it to keep the sticker, and I show it, well, wait, that's not you or Kelly, that's not Michael or Kelly, well, so,
I guess my
yeah.
feeling on this one is that I don't know how many people are gonna pull something like that, first of all. And I'm not saying it can't happen, because I believe it can. And some of these people are kinda cagey. But I don't think it's gonna be the bulk, and I know in cluster 1, that is not an issue for any of them.
Right. It's an
Because I have been
inconvenience,
very cautious.
it would be an inconvenience to some, but, you can't just say, hey, everybody, you have to show your registration, well, not you, and not you, but everybody else, you gotta show your registration,
To who?
you know?
I'll show my registration.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, it doesn't.
The office, is that how it works?
And go ahead, go on with we have volunteers that we wanna ease the pain, we wanna make it,
We were going to do, CNS was going to look at the homeowners list to see if an owner was on, and if not, at our application list to see if they had been approved. And if they are not on either list, we are not giving them a sticker, period.
Okay,
That's where we're at now.
okay. That makes sense. But I don't think you're gonna find any of that in cluster 1, I promise.
Let's keep going with that.
I have a question. Are you asked,
What
letting
is
us
it?
ask questions?
is it fair to new own, or not new owners, is it fair to new people coming in getting stickers when old people haven't been asked for the information?
Yes.
I don't think so, because
I
that
do.
could be lingering in your mind all the time. They are grandfathered in, but, you know, everyone else has to show their registration. So, I'm not saying that there's any funny business going on at all, but you know, it should just be, everyone should
I think we
have
have
the
to get to
same-
why we're having the discussion. You want to do all new stickers.
Yes. Calvin initially,
What's it gonna cost us?
Calvin initially, we have stickers that are in the incorrect places. They're on the front of the vehicle, or they're on the left side, or they're here, or they're there. This has been a year-long process that started out wrong. and I would like to, for Janet's sake, for CNS's sake, for Kelvin's sake, get the whole system straight. Which, yes, it would be a lot of work. It's an inconvenience, but minimizing that inconvenience.
I'm good, so I don't get the
Are you taking
In light
questions
of
yet?
the 718 violation and knowing that stickers are just handed out all throughout the community, I think we need to do it. Why can't we do it along with the owner information update?
cost us money.
Yeah, how
And
much is it
have
gonna
people
cost
come and
us
we'll just give them a sticker. We'll give them a new sticker.
It's not,
to get new stickers?
no, it won't, he's not charging us for the stickers,
Nope.
is he?
Yes, he is charging for stickers.
There you go.
How about, let me make a suggestion, you wanna bang your gavel, cause the board's not done speaking. I'll make a suggestion to the board, maybe, what we could do is, rather than change make everybody go through all that and do it again, how about those that have a vehicle that they've registered already, just scan a copy of their registration.
Right, but what do you mean go through all that? What are they going through? When you update your license plate, you get a new sticker, you have to walk out to your license plate and put it on every 1 or 2 years, right?
But you
This
don't
is one
have
time.
to, you don't have to schlep your
Registration.
card over to CNS.
No, because the DMV knows your registration already, right?
They do.
But you don't have to schlep, because we have volunteers that will be here at the clubhouse at convenient hours for as many days as we need. All you have to do is walk here. We have other information that we would like to get updated, such as current email and current telephone number.
But are these registration cards going to be registered or recorded somehow? I mean.
No, I think it's
I
just
don't
to
have a
verify
problem
who it
bringing my
is.
card here.
I gotta tell you something, in
We're
all
not making
honesty,
it
I
up.
wasn't asked my opinion, I'm against it simply because,
Personal information.
on the registration,
Yeah.
There's
what's
what?
on the
Personally
registration,
identified
personal?
Yeah.
Oh, I have.
That is personally identifiable.
We know your address.
Your application.
Yeah.
All right.
My only concern is, even if you were to do that, and you do have a group that's offered to sit up here, go through it, make it convenient for everybody, how do they know? There's nobody who's gonna sit up here who knows everyone that might come up here to get a sticker.
Right.
So how are they gonna know if they've been vetted, or they're approved, or they're whatever, when they're walking in here to get their stickers? And I've already said, just so I'll say out loud in front of everybody, I'm willing to give up my Saturday at home in my pajamas and do the audit. I'm not willing to get dressed and come sit at the clubhouse, I'm not.
That's fine.
So,
You can handle that.
yeah, but then how do you check? When someone comes in and says, I'm running from
Maybe-
so-and-so.
Maybe they have to go to CNS.
Makes everything so much more complicated.
Alright, it's up to you guys, I just feel like,
All right, let's,
it's just like the truck thing, like, it's not an issue yet, let's wait until, well, actually, some say they are
It
sticking.
is an issue.
Are we,
Yeah.
are we?
all right, you wanna table this, or?
Did we
I
ask
don't think you
questions
can
yet?
table it. If you wanna move forward with the
Yeah, what
program,
do you-
you can table it.
Table this.
We
Did we
can
ask
make a decision
questions
yet.
yet?
I personally don't wanna do it, because mine are done and they're done right, so.
Charlie's
And
are
I
done
know
right.
that, I've kept up with people who've gotten new cards.
Okay.
Can we ask questions yet?
Robin or Duet, you have any input?
I just want all my information correct. And I still don't have email numbers, I still don't have correct phone numbers, I don't know if all my owners have the correct ones. I know if you have come and complained that they don't have the right sticker. In my opinion, for my cluster, it would be beneficial for us to reissue new tickets. And I feel that way, everything's controlled and everything is up to date, and it will alleviate some inter-cluster discussions and problems amongst each other. If everybody has everything updated and we're all on the same page.
All right, and Duet?
Duet?
I agree with Robin. Also, I believe that we should get a different color sticker too. So everybody in cluster should get new stickers, I believe, and we should get a different color.
And who's gonna pay?
All right.
Again,
Yeah,
And,
who pays for that?
So what?
She just said it's gonna cost money. Janet said it's gonna cost. Well, I'm giving personal information.
so we asked questions.
All right.
Questions, we have questions. We have a question. We have a question, oh my God.
It's the most effective man.
Let's take it crazy.
How did you see that before, Tom?
As long as you don't get into discussion, give people their
Don't go back and forth.
Okay, but let me finish, step away and answer that one. And that's it. Then the next one, step away.
They're gonna wanna keep.
No. 3 minutes.
All right, okay.
3 minutes.
I agree with
All right.
Absolutely.
You get 3 minutes. We will answer your question once you sit down. Ask all the questions you want in 3 minutes.
May I start?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm Terry with Cluster 3. All of our cluster, everybody within our cluster went through and filled out the registration form with their license plate, their phone number, their email address a year and a half ago. Within the files, everybody has a copy in the Cluster 3 file of everybody's vehicle registration number, everything. It's all in there. And I don't feel that it's fair, for one, to have somebody that is not a cluster director, that you want people to bring in their registration and personal information as just some random person that lives here, that's not a director. I will absolutely not do that. And I just, like I said, I don't think that we should have to go through this again, because we've already been handed our stickers, and there is a log of every one of the people that have permission to park somewhere else within their cluster, as Ann does in your cluster, and then everybody has already filled all of this information, so I have to go through this and spend the extra cost. I think it's senseless.
We address that,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then we'll address the next one, and like that, instead of doing a whole list. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
They want to address that, they're responding to the report.
Yeah, so,
They're responding to
okay, first off, the information, all the personal information, you already know your address, okay? And it would be directors that would be volunteering, not just random people that we would get to come in here. It would be directors who would be volunteering.
Okay, you guys didn't mention that in the beginning.
Okay.
And it would literally be a page like this. Just updated phone numbers. Yeah, a year and a half is honestly to me a long time. We have, you see it all the time. You send out emails and they bounce back. I know other directors have made phone calls and the phone number doesn't work. So we do have residents in the community that don't update their information and we don't have it correct.
I'm gonna add to that, I think that, this is just me to the board, but I think that you're mixing two different items. One is, do we wanna do the car registration again? And the second is, do you have all your emails and phone numbers? And you can do one without the other. This is not a group
Yeah.
thing,
Right.
and we should not be redoing stickers because we don't have all the emails or phone
Right.
numbers, so.
Agreed.
Correct.
They're two separate things.
Yeah. Laura has.
I would like to know how much the stickers are gonna cost, because it sounds like clusters 1 and 5 have actually cleaned up their records, so they know what they've got, so those two clusters should not be subject to this, and should not have to incur any cost associated with issuing new stickers. The other part of that is that when this whole thing started back in January, I filled out a form, sent it to Janet with my sticker number. So why are we talking about all of a sudden saying we need new stickers if I provided everything that I'm required to provide? It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. So the directors that have not done their job, you guys can go through the process of obtaining that information and paying the cost of those stickers. I don't think the clusters that are complete should have to incur any cost where this is concerned. We're already strapped. We don't need to spend more money on this if we've actually seen a thorough job being done by some of the directors.
Okay, the director of Cluster 1 has admittedly not verified the registration of everyone that has
That's because
been
I'm not
given
a cop.
stickers.
Why does she
No,
need to
right.
verify?
I don't
Why
know.
does she need to verify?
We're not going back and forth, let him answer, go ahead.
So that's, so,
I didn't sit down yet though. He said, no, I did not, I stepped to my chair. I did
Oh,
not
well, then
sit
don't
down.
answer, then
I
don't
did not
answer.
sit down.
Alright.
Then don't answer.
There is still no explanation for why you need our registration information if you guys know who lives in your cluster. And if you're a community, don't you know who lives in your cluster? To be able to say, yep, that person lives there. Cluster 2 is a whole different case, and that's gonna be fun for you guys to figure out. But for clusters that they actually know who lives in their cluster, and they got the information, and they know who we are, and they know whether or not we live there, why do you need our registration information? If you're gonna grandfather some stuff in, you need to grandfather this, because this stuff has been completed, and I do not think that we should have to incur the cost of this process just because some directors don't have that information from their residents.
I'm still gonna put in, if Laura's, I'm making up your license plate, if Laura's license plate is ABC 123, and I put it in my system that way, and we put it in Compto, when Compto comes through, if her registration is expired, regardless of whether she got a fake sticker or gave me the wrong number or whatever, they're gonna throw the card, doesn't matter what sticker she has
Yep.
on. So me having the registration, I could bring in my registration and get stickers today, and it expires next week. So I don't know that you need them, I just need to know that they are approved residents.
Yep.
But then, unit by unit could share stickers.
How?
What do you mean?
How can they do that?
The owner or tenant of, I'm making one up, I have no, I'm gonna go with a number you don't have. The owner or tenant of unit 7500 is gonna come into my office and say, I just moved in, I need 2 stickers. Show me the lease, let me check your name and see that you are approved there. You are, however, I go in my system, they already have 1 vehicle registered. So I'm gonna take that one out and I'll give you these 2. Because it was probably the owner, and then they rented, right? Or it was a previous tenant, and then they rented. So I'm gonna give them the 2 new ones, and I'm gonna get rid of that one that was already in there. I don't have any other way to do it unless you have someone who's going to take this on full time. I'm willing to do it, but I'm not willing to sit in the office. So my staff has to be able to check to make sure they're okay to get a sticker, and if there are any stickers in my system, they may, if they have 1 in there, they can have 1 more. If they want 2, then we're taking the first one out, period, end of discussion. So I don't really understand how, if Laura wants to come in and give, Susan, you're standing next to her, if Laura wants to come in and give Susan the second card, then Laura's gonna come in and say, for my unit, I want a second vehicle, here's the registration, and I'm gonna give Laura a second one. I don't know who's driving the car, and even if Laura registered it in her name, she could be letting her friend, whoever you know what I mean?
Right.
We don't.
But that would be the problem.
Why?
What, if you walked in and said, hey, I need 2 stickers, here's 2
But-
registrations?
But the first thing we're gonna do is
We're not
check,
registration, I'm
Susan
sorry.
is an approved resident here.
Right.
So, yes, she can have the sticker for her unit if Susan's approved to be living in her unit. Sure. She can't come in with a guy from McDonald's and say, I want a second car, because he's not approved to live there,
Question?
right?
Question.
Right.
How do I answer?
I think you need to, I don't know what to tell you, but unless you guys wanna put it off another month and discuss it next month, or we just gotta get it settled. Take a vote, I mean, let the rest of the people talk and take a vote, do you wanna
We'll be here
redo
all
this or not?
No, don't.
Wanna move on.
Let's go through
Wanna
it.
move on.
Tom, you're not just gonna blow this off. You can't just stop midway and say, I'm done. Finish.
Is it possible to just do the clusters that haven't completed the program, since Charlie and I have?
Yeah.
We know that ours are done, and I know they're correct. I would lay my life on the line. So, can they just do the other 4?
The other option is let me finish my audit, and I'll come to you with the problems that I found, and we'll see.
That makes sense.
if you've got them in the system, I'll put them in mine. If I've got them in mine, I'll put them in contact. Well, I think I already did all those, but I'll double check them. And then if I have somebody, which, Charlie, probably a mistake, Edna, I know a mistake, where you have 3 vehicles at one unit, I'm gonna bring it to your attention and say, which one am I deleting? But
And
again,
that's
this is a one-time thing. Either board members can see it, cause every day you wanna be able to check it, and not update, or you update and we are not, because we're not doing both, cause this is gonna take me hours and days. And that's not, I'm not doing it again. This is it.
So just so I'm clear, Janet, you're gonna keep a parallel system, but you're gonna still keep the compost system that we can see?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is what mine looks like, this is what theirs looks like.
Okay.
And right now, everything that you see on the right side in blue does not match,
Okay.
all through here. So that's what I have to make match
Yep.
by the time people get these rules in their hands.
Yep. So are there any other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as clusters having it together, cluster 2,
Hang on one second.
Go ahead.
okay, as far as clusters having it together, I believe that cluster 2 doesn't. I believe, with Duet, because when EJ was here, I myself have seen him give more than, 2, at times, permits.